Hey Dunchbags, what's going on? It's Landon Remixes here, and I am finally back from my vacation in Maine, and I'm finally ready to get into some more reviews. So we'll be starting off this 2016 year, which I have very high hopes for being one of the best years in music, although I seem to think that every year. I think we've got a lot of promise with albums that are coming out this year. You should see my list just chocked full of things that I'm going to review and touch base on. We're going to start out with one of the year's earliest album releases, which is Marshmello's Joytime. Now Marshmello has been best known to be kind of an anonymous DJ at this point, and people have always been pretty attracted to that, even though deadmau5 is pretty open about who he is. Daft Punk, groups like that, Funcase and Bear Grylls. There's a lot of attention around EDM DJs that tend to be masked. So when the hype started growing around this marshmallow-cladded DJ, it didn't really come as a surprise to me. The most probable theory, in my opinion, is that Marshmello is in fact the Philadelphia-based .com, who has worked in the trap and dubstep scene for quite a while, and just looking over his SoundCloud, you can tell that the time that should have been spent making this Marshmello album has been filled with absolutely no material from .com. Both of their SoundClouds are set up in the same exact way. They have the same booking manager and agencies. So in my opinion, that's the most probable theory, although I don't think his identity necessarily matters. The thing I'm going to talk about here is that both Marshmello and .com seem to generally take a pretty amateur approach to dance music, not necessarily doing anything that's a step far out from the comfort zone of trap fans and future bass fans, especially on .com for that matter, moving very heavily into just the direction of very generic trap, hardstyle, things like that, collabs with Keizo. And then Marshmello we see moving into a very popular future bass scene and playing it very safe while doing that. This album actually came as quite a surprise for me. I didn't really know Marshmello did original music, so I guess that's kind of a cool aspect. But when he just decided to drop an entire debut album, I was actually really surprised. Regardless of how I feel about Marshmello or .com, if you want to assume they're the same person, I was pretty excited to hear this album and came off as a slight disappointment when I did finally get the chance to listen through it. Now there's a lot of hype building around artists like Marshmello and Skrillex in the past year, along with Jaws, who's also the same part of the same management. Honestly, I have yet to wrap my mind around how Marshmello has gotten so big recently, because like I said earlier in this video, I think Marshmello's music is fairly mediocre. So with this album I was hoping for a little more and got a bit less than I was expecting. I'm just going to touch quickly on a few of the songs. The overshadow of most of this album is fairly generic chill trap, not necessarily future bass, but maybe melodic trap. And although I can understand why this kind of music would be popular, I don't really see why an artist like this is getting so much attention. Tracks like the kicker off of this, Know Me, seem to draw very heavily from Skrillex and Diplo's Where Are You Now with Justin Bieber, as well as the track Take It Back. Bounce, on one hand, is one that's a bit more interesting than the majority of this album, kind of pulling off a really grimy, heavy trap sound while at the same time keeping it clean production-wise. And my two favorites on the album are Summer and Keep It Mellow. Keep It Mellow is not extraordinary by production, but being the only vocal track on the entire album, it is very refreshing to hear it at the end. Like I said, it's not spectacular, but in the context of this record, it would be one of my favorites. And Summer just being a really happy-go-lucky kind of melodic trap sound. The rest of this is really bland. Like I said at the beginning, Marshmello's production on this seems to be pretty mediocre and playing it very safe to his listeners. And no, I don't hate Marshmello, and I want to hear more of his music progress in a really fantastic way, but that has to happen by his doing. If Marshmello wants to stay relevant with the massive fan base that he has right now, he's going to have to stop making this really safe sounding music, or he's not going to be ranked high among artists in the EDM scene, people like Jamie XX that have been getting huge, and even a lot of the Monster Cow artists seem to be progressing individually into a direction that's a lot less generic. than where Marshmello went with this record. I'm feeling a 3.5 on this one. Definitely deserving. Like I said, it's fairly bland. It just doesn't really take you anywhere you'd expect an artist of his stature to be able to do at this point. A couple really good ones on here. Really love Summer and Keep It Mellow. Bounce was of course pretty interesting, but I'd like to see where Marshmello could go from here. Even though this is more of a compilation album, I don't think this should have been collected. Just my opinion. Anyway, what do you guys think about this album? Don't hate me for hating this. Anyway, let me know in the comments, and let me know what kind of reviews you want to see next, because I'm definitely taking your guys' suggestions. This record was a suggestion. I was planning on reviewing it anyway, but there's a lot of albums that you guys can suggest, and I am constantly listening through this stuff to please you guys and make good content that you will enjoy. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this little review, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.